Hey, hi, hello, welcome back. Let me tell the peoples that I am live. You can hear my child in the background. That looks great. I'm going to go throw it in our VIP Discord server. If you want to join that, you can do so at our link in bio, lovedandlovable.bio.link. And let me hit the go live on the Instagrams, and then I will introduce myself in Love and Action Network. Hi, I'm Tara Priolo. I'm your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the ish nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. Love and Action Network is a peer support organization where we encourage, equip, and empower you to put your love in action and put your times, talents, and treasures in action for bold dreamers like you. Our CEP is at Andre in the Flow. You can find him on all platforms at that handle. We also have another practitioner at PuppyWater33. You can find him on all platforms at that handle. And you can find me at Tara Priolo Studio on the platforms that matter, darling. That matter. That matter. I don't know why it's like, she's like, listen, why? You know what I'm saying? It's not green. Like the shirt is green. I would think we wouldn't, but it doesn't like that. Okay. Anywho, here we go. Here we go. All right. I don't have any inspo today, y'all. We the Urban has not posted yet. Black Liturgies has not posted yet. Hello, Cindy. No one has posted. So I'm just going to do the Melody Beatty. If y'all want inspo, you can go listen to yesterday's. There was a bunch there. And then, so the Melody Beatty, where are you? I had it up. Okay, there we go. All right. Day 4. Oh, the if you want to start filling up the comments with I love. That is the mantra for today. I love. Okay, and y'all know how I feel about day 4 each week. I love day 4 because it's a bunch of questions that you can answer. So maybe grab your notebooks, maybe grab your comment section, maybe grab your notes app, whatever feels comfy to you, but grab it. Okay, day 4. Many of us have an altar in our home. I don't, but okay. On it, we keep spiritual or religious objects. We're supposed to keep our altar clean, tended, well kept. I like to burn candles and incense on mine. The spiritual space we're trying to find and maintain in meditation practice is the sacred place in each of us. I don't know how I feel about this one. Inventory focus of the week. What are your meditation practices? Have you found that space, the one inside each of us that transcends space and time? It's there. And no matter what's going on around us, it's quiet there. After we've been in that space for a few minutes, we're restored. We can gently get up, return to our lives, and almost effortlessly do what needs to be done. Okay, I'm going to read it one more time. What are your meditation practices? Have you found that space, the one inside each of us that transcends space and time? It's there, and no matter what's going on around us, it's quiet there. After we've been in that space for a few minutes, we are restored. We can gently get up, return to our lives, and almost effortlessly do what needs to be done. Yes. Okay. Dr. Flo says, I love you. I love this work. I love the thrill of the adventure. I love how grounded that I have become. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Cindy, I see you still here. If you want to answer, you can. Y'all, let me go give this child the bottle really quick. We're trying to take a nap, but we're pouting about it. So just give me a second. Here. I know that you're tired. Here. Here. There. There. Go to sleep. It's nap time in the house. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. All right. And then we're doing heart chakra questions. Speaking of heart chakra. Heart chakra. All right. Reflecting on the heart chakra, also known as anahata in Sanskrit, can help you cultivate compassion, love, and emotional balance. Here are some questions to help guide your introspection. I'm sorry, y'all. I had the burps. Hello, happy odds. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let's do Healing and growth, because Dr. Flo just said something about that in the chat. What past wounds or traumas still affect my ability to give and receive love? How can I heal and open my heart chakra more fully? What steps can I take to cultivate more love and compassion in my daily life? What past wounds or traumas still affect my ability to give and receive love? I think that we all carry an element of like something that has Cindy's laughing. I don't have an altar. I don't either. I don't either. Um, what was I saying? Lost it. Lost it. Oh, I think there's things that we hold on to. And so I'm not sure that like the past is a siphon. Dr. Flo has been talking about that for weeks, but maybe months by now. But I think that a lot of like they're never really past wounds if we don't let go of them. And so I think there are things that we carry with us that prevent us from the ability to give and receive love. Um, and I think that's a very like for me, it's microaggressions and not being accepted or not belonging or like still not really like finding places to like I have places that I belong, but I would like that belonging to feel bigger, you know, like we have what we want and then we want more type of thing. Um and yeah, that closes me off. How can I heal and open my heart chakra more fully? Um, I think it takes what is in the next question, which is love and compassion about the things that I'm going to have to do to craft the world around me the way that I see, mm, the way that I will feel the most loved and be able to give the most love with free abandon, um, which is accepting that I can say all I want, who I am, and people are still going to define me how they believe they want me to be, right? Or they perceive me to be. That's another one of those like past things, right? There are people from your past that will always hold in their minds a version of you that is no longer you, right? Because you have grown beyond it. um, and that holds you back a little bit because maybe they knew you, and in my instance, maybe they knew you in a knew me in a spot of my life that I was more quote unquote white, or maybe they met me when I was being more quote unquote black. Maybe they met me when I was pretending not to be a singer. Maybe they met me when I was pretending not to be a teacher. Maybe they met me, you know, in my childhood and are you know met the Tara that was people pleasing, and they're holding on to that, and that prevents me from giving them love and it prevents me from receiving love from them. What steps can I take to cultivate more love and compassion in my daily life? I think, like I said, the education of the people around me, the standing like fully and truly in who I want to be and who I perceive myself to be, which um I don't think a lot of people can really grasp, and I think we do that to each other, right? I think we oftentimes do not see each other in our wholeness, and Dr. Flo and I talk about this all the time, you know, we sometimes enter rooms, and Cindy, I see your comments, and I'll come back over. Um, I think we sometimes we don't we want wholeness for ourselves, but we don't see anybody else in wholeness, right? And we can't accept all of the parts of them, because we so desperately want them to be similar to us and that be the mark of the belonging. And the fact is, again, back to like the quote of the year, which is a movement is people thinking differently and moving in the same direction. And I don't think we can be whole, and I don't think we can have uh more love and compassion in our daily lives if we're not moving from the idea that we have to allow others to be whole once we're whole ourselves. And we have to let go of past versions of those people, and we have to forgive those past versions of people, and um, we even have to forgive the present version of people. We have to forgive the future version of people and see them in their wholeness, right? As we see ourselves in our wholeness in this moment. We're not perfect, but we are whole. Yeah. I hope that made any sense at all. Let me catch some of these comments. Dr. Flo says seeing each other in wholeness and says yes, yes in the comment section. I'm going to come catch you, Cindy. I think I've had some with how I've been treated or ignored by some in-law family members. Yes, grown and changed. Yeah. I mean, the reality is, I think this was a couple weeks ago, but like the perception that we have of being ignored or the perceptions that we have of being accepted or the perception that we have of belonging is a direct reflection of what's going on inside of us. And most of the time when we feel less accepted, when we feel ignored, when we feel this is not to say there's not mean people out there, but when we feel a lack of wholeness, it is because we're not granting that to ourselves, right? Like we feel ignored because we're ignoring ourselves. Right? I had this morning where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm having this conversation and it's like the same conversation I had yesterday, right? Or it's the conversation that like I want to have, but also like I'm not sure that it's who I like. The fighting against the quote unquote ignoring, right, of other people, when really the perception, like people don't know how to talk to each other. That is true. And we're usually ignoring ourselves. We're usually not taking care of ourselves. We're usually not being whole in ourselves. We're so busy chasing the past or chasing the future that we're not in the moment, in the wholeness of right now and the enoughness of right now. And so I'm not saying that you're not ignored, right? I'm not saying that you're not treated poorly by those people. But I also think that we happen to see the negativity with which others approach us when we're being more negative to ourselves. We place more value on that negativity when we are being negative to ourselves, right? Like, for instance, Dr. Flo and I have been having a conversation. Yesterday, we had a conversation about the healthcare system, and today we were having a conversation in Deconstruction Junction, which you all should join at 6:30 p.m. on Friday, live on his platforms on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and Facebook, I do believe as well. It's the same conversation. Like race is a construct, money is a construct, but like there are differing opinions inside of which one makes us more, like which dog we have in the race, to quote Dr. Flo in the chat earlier. And you can approach that as like, oh, this person is being mean to me and they're disagreeing with me or they're ignoring what I'm saying, or you can see how you're ignoring yourself. And I had to do that this morning of like, okay, is Dr. Flo just not hearing me, or am I not hearing me? And I think when you get to that place, you can love and forgive yourself and have compassion for yourself and have compassion, more love and compassion for other people. When you realize that every relationship that you have and every moment of that relationship is a direct reflection of how they're feeling about themselves that day and how they're treating themselves that day and how we're treating ourselves that day. Right? It's a direct reflection of what you're taught to believe about yourself. Right? And then, like some of us are taught to think poorly of ourselves. I'm that person because I was a gifted kid. And so I was taught that nothing is good enough unless it's an A. Nothing is good enough unless you are 10,000 times better than the person next door. Nothing is good enough if it's not perfect. And so, of course, if I'm approaching the world from that aspect of what I was taught and how I feel about myself, then the way that I approach conversation and the way that I approach other people, I'm going to feel like they don't feel like I'm good enough. And I'm going to feel like they treat me that way all the time. I see you, Dr. Flo. So yes, people are absolutely mean. And people are absolutely ignoring you, and people are absolutely treating you in a way that you do not like. But it is because they are also treating themselves that way, and you are allowing them to treat you that way because you're treating yourself that way. And that's not victim blaming, y'all. Like, people are abusive, and we have to put our foot down and recognize those signs of abuse and get out of those situations so we can stop abusing ourselves. Right? And so if your family is mean, is ignoring you, if people in your community are mean and they are ignoring you, if you are not able to handle a conversation without, getting really upset, and that is one of the wonderful things that like Dr. Flo and I've really worked on, is being able to have these tough conversations while not getting mad personally, right? Which I'm about to go talk about Madeline Pendleton on Threads or somewhere, because child, that whole is a mess, baby. But extricate yourself from that situation for the time being and figure out how you're not treating yourself, right? Figure out the ways in which you're ignoring yourself. Figure out the ways in which you're being mean to yourself. Figure out the ways in which you're not being whole, right? And this was intended to be a really short one, but y'all got me fired up, because I do think that the world that we all want to see, this utopia that we all kind of like giggle at, like we dream it up and then we're like, that could never happen. Well, no, it can never happen if in ourselves we're believing that we can't bring it to fruition. No, it can't happen if we're ignoring ourselves. No, it can't happen if we're not living in wholeness. No, it cannot happen if we're constantly being mean to ourselves. No, it cannot happen if we do not have self-love. No, it cannot happen. Right? Our imaginations are only as stagnant as we allow them to be. We can have a world where we don't have to worry about if people are going to let us into the group or not. But because we have collectively and individually believed in these things persist. And I hope I'm making sense. I really hope I'm making sense. But I'm going to leave it on that yes, people are probably, you're welcome, Cindy. She says, okay, true. Sounds familiar. Yes, self-care. Thank you for this. Have to go. Love to you. Love to you and your family as well. I really think that we just have to remember that most of us are not nice to ourselves. And so then we're not nice to each other. And we're not nice to ourselves every second of every day, right? We're nice to ourselves 50% of the day, or 70% of the day, or 25% of the day, or 89% of the day. But we're not nice to ourselves consistently enough to get us out of the hypnotic rhythm, as Dr. Flo talks about, of believing that it's other people's fault for the way that they're treating us. What is most, one of my coaches says, and I don't remember where the quote comes from, but what is most personal is the most universal. Right. And they have encouraged me to talk about like the biraciality aspect of things. And I keep kind of rebelling against it because I'm like, well, most people aren't biracial, child. But what is most personal is most universal. So if you're feeling ignored because you're ignoring yourself, you can guarantee that the person that is ignoring you is probably also ignoring themselves. Because what is most personal is most universal. And what is most personal is that we don't give ourselves enough love and enough compassion. And so therefore we can't offer it to other people. We can't offer grace to other people. Right? I hope that lands. I'll see y'all tomorrow for Throat Chakra Thursday. We have an open co-working here in about a half hour. If you are catching this live over on our VIP Discord server, you can join that by going to lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. We also have a watch party this evening. I believe it's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We have watch party scheduled through Friday. We have co-working scheduled through Friday. And then I am taking off, and you will be with Dr. Flo over the weekend and early next week for Daily Boost. You can also catch Dr. Flo live on various platforms for various things, but a lot of singing and also a lot of just living daily life and loving himself a little bit more. If you're interested in all of that, again, jump into the Discord channel. Make sure that you are following us on communication platforms, such as the Instagram broadcast channels, the Discord. You can join the public band page. There are a couple new bands for vocal performance that Dr. Flo has started. And you can get to all of that at lovedandlovable.bio.link by live chatting us. Okay, continue to be anti-racist, be safe, wear a mask, make good trouble, do good work. I love y'all hardcore. You are loved and lovable, and nobody can change that. Joy is our revolution. Step into it and belong to it. I'll see y'all. Toodles.